I want to bring in Sushant Sareen, who joins us on this broadcast. Also joining us is Lieutenant General Rameshwar Yadav, former Director General of Infantry, on this special broadcast. And we want to discuss this threadbare. Sushant Sareen, you've heard what the Foreign Secretary said. You've read through that statement. The Cabinet Committee on Security meeting that started at 6 o'clock lasted till close to 9. Your appreciation of the outcome so far and that last paragraph that talks about what may happen in future.
So I think the decisions which have been taken on the bilateral front are very significant, especially the suspension of the Indus Waters Treaty. I think that is the single most significant step India has taken in a long, long time. And frankly, it rids us of the kind of obstructionism that Pakistan would create on the dams that we were constructing. And it gives us a certain leeway in the immediate. It gives us some leeway to disrupt water flows into Pakistan on the existing structures. But there are other structures that we are building, and now we are free to build them the way we want to build them. Even if they're going to be run-of-the-river projects, which most likely they will be, we can build them in a way that we can very easily start disrupting water flows on the main rivers from either the tributaries or the rivers on which these dams are being constructed. And that will have a devastating impact on Pakistan, because if you start impounding water at a time when they need it, that's the end of their agriculture as it exists. So that's significant. I think it's also significant that I hope at least, we've stopped this circus, very cringe kind of a thing which used to happen on Wagah border, Atari border. I hope we stop this nonsense that, like cocks strutting around. I hope we've stopped that completely, and we're never going to revive it. I don't think it behoves a country like India to have that kind of tamasha on the border.
Third, such a powerful country, India, and such a namby-pamby terror state, Pakistan, I don't know why we give them such level of equivalence that we permit them to stand anywhere close to us. It's just mind-boggling, Sushant Sareen. Couldn't agree with you more on this, but go on, sir, complete your point.
Yeah, and then, of course, I think there's been, again, a significant downgrading. We've probably scrapped the posts of the defense attaches, all three of them. And I think that's not a bad thing to do. And frankly, I don't know when these positions will be revived. We've downgraded the missions significantly. I would have imagined that it would not be a bad idea to downgrade them even more, leave only about 10 people in either mission. But at least this decision has been taken. So
at least no overt ISI. Ambassador Veena Sikri also joins us on the broadcast. Madam, welcome. At least no overt ISI operatives in India in the form of the defense attaché, air attaché, naval attaché in our country. I mean, why did we have them in the first place anyways, when half of them would be spying in India and get caught spying? But Ambassador, your appreciation of the steps announced, are they more symbolic? Are they substantive? Or is this a signal that's going out to Pakistan, or is this more for domestic consumption?
An important signal to Pakistan, and I think as a first decision, what the Foreign Secretary announced is very significant. As Sushant correctly said, the decision to suspend the Indus Waters Treaty should have been taken a long time back. It was recommended 15 years ago and more that please stop. The Indus Waters Treaty, because it is only benefiting Pakistan. They are raising every objection, even to our routine run-of-the-river projects on the rivers, and we go into arbitration, and they raise just delaying tactics to ensure that India does not use even the share of water allotted to India, and everything flows into Pakistan. Now that we've made it clear that we are going to suspend the treaty, we have every right to divert the waters and to ensure that they are used, after all, first and foremost for the people of Jammu and Kashmir. And these are the very people whom Pakistan claims they want to help. But they are the people who are being denied the water because of this very iniquitous Indus Waters Treaty. So I think that we are very correct on that. Secondly, of course, quite correctly, the suspension of the defense attaches, Army, Navy, Air Force will certainly stop a lot of illegal activity that they are doing. But I think that this is the beginning, and I think that the all-party meeting, which is likely to be held tomorrow, is very significant because it will take the whole country on board. And then there are many other kinetic measures which need not be announced to the public at all, and which should be taken. But after tomorrow's all-party meeting, a number of kinetic measures would certainly be in the pipeline, and there's no need to say to anybody when or where or what these are.
Oh, absolutely. Let Pakistan sweat a bit. General Rameshwar Yadav, I also have Mona Alam who joins us from Pakistan. Geeta Mohan stays with me. And General Yadav, before I come to you, may I quickly go across to Pakistan and ask Mona, I'm sure in Pakistan everyone's heard the announcements made by India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri. Any response officially or unofficially from your establishment, Mona? Anything, any buzz in Pakistan? What can you tell us?
Thank you, Gaurav. I would firstly like to sympathize with this loss of life. I mean, I always have and I always will. This doesn't have any ifs and buts. Innocent lives being taken away is a very sorry state of affairs, and my deepest condolences to the families. But, the point is that I think this was extremely premature this time. Though even in Pulwama's time, I recall the blame was right away given on to Pakistan, without any investigations happening. But this time around, I think the event or the incident hadn't even taken place, whereby, social media accounts in India were abuzz of
Really
blame
no.
gaming and blaming Pakistan. But I think a thorough investigation must take place. This necessitates the investigation
What
even further,
impact will
because
holding the
MEA has
Indus
taken
Water
very
treaties in abeyance? India, because if Indus Waters Treaty is held in abeyance, what impact does that have on Pakistan?
Look, of course, water happens to be the lifeline, whether it's Pakistan or whether it's India. 1960s Indus Water Treaty, of course, it's an international treaty. And in my own appreciation or in my own understanding, I may be right, I may be wrong, but as far as I've read about it, it cannot be unilaterally held into abeyance, and it cannot be unilaterally suspended. I mean, this is my own appreciation. Pakistan can go into arbitration if any such stern action is taken and is put in place by India. Pakistan has the right to go into an international arbitration on the matter. Of course, water is essential. I don't think there's any qualms about this. The water happens to be, even in Pakistan, we are facing water scarcity. And as far as I know, there's a conflict already in Pakistan between two provinces, Punjab and Sindh. So I think what happened in your part of Jammu and Kashmir is extremely unfortunate. But I think an investigation must happen.
Okay.
I
But
believe
tell
the
me more,
attack
this
had happened
conflict that is
yesterday
happening because of
afternoon
Indus Water. Okay,
Yeah,
both
please.
Geeta Mohan and Ambassador Sikri want to respond. Ambassador Sikri, quickly before I come to Geeta. Geeta has a big smile on her face. Go and Ambassador Sikri, and so does Sushant Sareen and General Yadav. Thank you very much for waiting. But go on, Ambassador Sikri, please respond, madam.
I must say, first and foremost, I think it's a joke to call for an investigation. This is typical delaying tactics that Pakistan has always been employing, even for the Bombay attacks, even for 26/11, and saying, oh, do the investigation, do the investigation. Kasab doesn't belong to us, doesn't belong to us, and so on. We've bought this line. Many previous governments have bought this line. This government is not going to buy this line. Please be very clear on that point, number one. Number two, India has every right to suspend the Indus Waters Treaty. There is no way, because it has been unequal, number one, and in the implementation, Pakistan has prevented India from utilizing the shares of the rivers even assigned to India, apart from many other factors, and not being allowing India to do even run-of-the-river projects on these rivers that they have been held up, and Pakistan goes into arbitration and tries to present and raise objection, all for delaying tactics. This is not going to work anymore. The Indus Water Treaty no longer exists. It is in suspension. Please understand that and think about what you're going to do in the summer. Before that, I would like Mona Alam to recognize Pakistan as the global center, the epicenter of global terrorism. I think if Pakistan were to recognize this fact, then the people of Pakistan would be much better equipped to deal with their own future. Let them recognize that. Let him recognize that the world sees Pakistan as the epicenter of global terrorism. It's not India. It's the world that sees Pakistan as the epicenter of global terrorism. Please wake up and smell the coffee. You are the epicenter of global terrorism. Please stop it. The people of Pakistan can stop it. Please impact your own army and the ISI to stop it. Only then you can possibly talk to India. Till then, nothing more is possible.
But if Mona Alam were to do that, I'm told several journalists in Pakistan have either been arrested or they've disappeared. Several have been shot and shot dead in the past. Mona, maybe it's better to just stay alive in Pakistan for now. But Geeta, you wanted to come in and Sushant wanted to come in. Go on, Geeta.
Well, just a limited point and a very technical one at that, because Mona Alam just said that Pakistan can go to the court of arbitration if and should India put the IWT, Indus Waters Treaty, in abeyance, which is what it has done. It has not annulled it, not scrapped it, not suspended, but kept it in abeyance for now. Having said that, Pakistan has already violated the Indus Waters Treaty, Gaurav. The treaty very clearly had spelled out that there needs to be a neutral expert that will look into the rights of waters for India and Pakistan. Now, that one process was underway, and only recently, not so long ago, Pakistan went to the court of arbitration, starting another process. India had lodged a protest saying that you cannot have two processes when one is already underway. So going to the court of arbitration, Pakistan has already done it in violation of what was considered as the first process in the Indus Waters Treaty, that is a decision by the neutral expert.
Fair enough. Sushant Sareen, you want to come in before I quickly bring in General Yadav on the military aspect of what India could, should and must do. Sushant Sareen.
Yeah, Mona talks about investigation. There was an investigation in 2611. Please tell us what you did about it. Even you investigated it. You identified the people. Please tell us what you did about it. Damn all, right? On Pulwama, again, they have reached this conclusion that they had nothing to do with it, little realizing that the Jaish-e-Mohammed had immediately after the attack published a video of the suicide bomber claiming responsibility. Later on, they deleted it when they realized there'll be a lot of flack, and their masters in Appara, the ISI headquarters, realized it. They deleted it. So for the Pakistanis to pretend that they had nothing to do with it, this injured innocence which they had, nobody buys it. Thirdly, on this latest attack, this horrible massacre which these brutes have carried out, it's very clear that there were threats being issued from Pakistan, not just by the Lashkar-e-Taiba fellows who were openly parading around in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, issuing these threats. Their generals were issuing these threats. Their journalists, who are mouthpieces of the generals like Najam Sethi and others, were issuing these threats openly, publicly on the television channels. And yet you are asking us, how come we are blaming you? It's very clear how we are blaming you, because your hands are covered in the blood of Hindus and Indians. Okay, let's be very clear about it. And finally, on the Indus Waters Treaty, you want to do something about it? Try your luck. Let's see what works out for you. But I would strongly suggest that when we say that it's in abeyance, basically it means that it ceases to operate, which also means that we are pretty much free to do what we want to do about it.
And Mona, I'm told Pakistan has very little foreign exchange. If that's truly true, if that's actually true, I wouldn't advise Pakistan to waste it on Indus Waters Treaty case, because you will lose it anyways and you will lose foreign exchange. Pakistan will have to go with a begging bowl to another country. And given India's strong ties with a lot of countries in the world, that may again be a problem for Pakistan, except China, but then you lose more territory. General Rameshwar Yadav, for joining me and being so patient, many thanks. You heard what the government announced. Is that enough in your military appreciation? There are things that this army needs to do on ground itself. There are some who've argued this Ramzan ceasefire, this India-Pakistan ceasefire at the LC, it's only benefited Pakistan. They were able to use troops in Baluchistan or in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa or against TTP. Otherwise, those troops would have been engaged at the LC. This ceasefire does not help us. Do you agree with that perception, or does the ceasefire actually work? There are other ways to impose costs on the Pakistan military jihad infrastructure.
Gaurav, before I come on to the military part of it, just a word on Indus Water Treaty. This is my considered opinion. Pakistan is keen to occupy or capture or secure Jammu and Kashmir because it is a Muslim majority state. No, that's not true. They want to do it to control the waters of Jammu and Kashmir because the economy is an agriculture predominant economy. And if you look at the grain of the ground, the water from Sindh is taken on to the Jhelum. From Jhelum, it is taken to Chenab, and from Chenab, it is taken to Ravi. So there is a cross section of number of canals which has been worked out for the irrigation part of it. The moment you hold this treaty in abeyance, you will find Pakistan, and especially the Punjab part of Pakistan, is going to go dry. So this is where it is going to pitch them. So it is a very big economic measure what government of India has taken. Now coming to the military part of it. Now talking of military options on an open channel, I think may not be appropriate. That is first point. Otherwise, you have already seen what we had done it in past. There was a surgical strike, ground-based operation. There was a strike on Balakot by the Air Force. The similar kind of activities can be done. There could be undeniable, the covert operations could be done. And there are certain lot of other things which I would not like to talk on the open channel like this. But the fact is,
my limited point to you was on the ceasefire. Does the ceasefire benefit Pakistan army more, or is it equally good for us?
Okay, I'll answer that. Pakistan uses the line of control, the ceasefire part of it, and the Indian bogey to conduct their foreign affairs, to manipulate their troops from the western border to the eastern border. So they use it, they manipulate this entire game plan by bogey of Indian threat, by ceasefire. Ceasefire has not helped at all. Ceasefire is primarily to see to it that serves the Pakistani benefits. So it is, even if it is not there, it makes no difference to us at all. I've served there on LC number of times.
Yes.
Means in my personal opinion, even if it is not there, so be it. It doesn't make much of difference. In fact,
at least Pakistan will be forced. No, I'll tell you why. Pakistan, using that ceasefire, was able to move 2 divisions from the LC to the AFPAC border.
Absolutely.
And that's where Pakistan is really bleeding. Right now, Pakistan, if it were to move back some of those forces, they may lose a lot of territory there to the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. They may lose territory in Balochistan. Sushant Sareen, before I bring in Mona Alam, is that a correct appreciation? Because Pakistan right now is playing with fire. Asim Munir is thinking that he's outgunning us. He's actually outgunning himself. He'll have trouble on all fronts and more.
He has done a self-goal, incidentally. You will just the kind of support that India has got because of this this kind of an operation, I think means their army chief of Pakistan, he has done a big disservice to Pakistan.
Sushant Sareen, is that also your appreciation? He wanted to survive himself. He's put Pakistan in peril.
Yeah, but that has been his game plan ever since he came into power, hasn't it? He has ensured that Pakistan is deeply polarized. He has shut down the media completely. He has given himself an extension which will probably be indefinite until his neck gets chopped off by some of his juniors. He has literally captured the judiciary and put it in a kind of a jail. The politicians are irrelevant anyways. You know, I always tell you this. Shahbaz Sharif is like the private secretary to the army chief in the local rank of prime minister. He has no auqat, none whatsoever. He's even less empowered than a clerk in the office of the prime minister. So that's his auqat. Now, this is what Asim has done to Pakistan, simply so that he can survive and he can prance about like the chief cleric of Pakistan. But I think this is a mistake. I think what he's trying to do is open a front with India so that the entire country rallies behind Pakistan, because whether you like it or not, the only thing which unites Pakistan is their hatred for Hindu. Okay, so he wants to rally everybody behind the Pakistan army, especially people in Punjab who are the most obnoxious and third-rate people, probably because most of them are converts, who have this huge problem with the Hindus and with India. So he wants to unite them. But at the same time, there are 2 open fronts in Balochistan and KP. And he's opening a third one, incidentally, because of the greed of the Pakistan army officials who want to grab the desert land and turn it into greenery and make Sindh into a desert. But now that there'll be no water coming in the Indus river system anyways, from the rivers which already existed, I wonder what happens to those plans. So I think all in all, it does not seem to be a very sensible game plan on the part of the Pakistani army chief. But then when have the Pakistan army chiefs ever done anything sensible?
Anything sensible. I completely agree with you. They're thinking, Mona, in our appreciation, and that's just Indian thinking, that Pakistan army thinking is very tactical, whether it is Kargil, whether it's 26/11, any terror attack, they can't think strategic. They can't think beyond day after tomorrow, because after day after tomorrow, in every instance, Pakistan has only bled. But do you agree with this assessment that Pakistan, and tell me about that land war that's happening, or that water war that's happening between Punjab and Sindh, and carving out these canals and trying to sell off corner plots, and the Pakistan army is now in the eye of a storm, with Bilawal Bhutto also opposing what Pakistan army intends to do, Mona?
President Zardari, who's the co-chairman of the same party, had given a nod, a principal nod in 2024. I've done extensive programs on this matter for this entire initiative. But I think that's a very domestic, issue to Pakistan. As far as I know, and as far as I've always heard from you, that you're always very, worried, and you do not. It doesn't seem to get along well with our Indian friends there. Whenever that we talk about domestic issues in India, whenever that we've spoken about Waqf Bill or Citizenship Amendments Act or beef lynchings there, or Gauri Lankesh's murder or Om Puri's murder, I mean, you don't really like it, right?
Murder,
So
really?
I do not understand the point of discussing all sorts of domestic issues when you're basically trying to make a point about this Pahalgam attack, which is
I will tell you the point. The Indus water, when that water does not come in the amount that Pakistan needs, then your army chief will be the chief villain in Pakistan. That is why is there link. But I know it will take some time for it to sink in. Once it sinks in, Pakistan will cry. And perhaps, those tears may be used for irrigation, but unfortunately those tears will only irrigate fields of terror in Pakistan. I hope that, of course, stops. But Mona, for joining me here on this India Today special, many thanks. We'll slip into a quick break. I'd request all our guests to stay in on this special broadcast, because after a quick break, we come back to the story. We discuss every aspect threadbare. Will that send a message across to that terror state Pakistan, or does India need to do a lot more?